Shalom, family. It's good to see you here. Hope you're doing well. I just got to post my usual stuff and then we can get started. We're going to talk about how the unemployment is rising among our people, but unemployment overall, among them folks is really not that bad. But for us, it is. But that should not be of any surprise. One thing I notice coming up, whenever the economy is bad, they'll make damn sure they are working and keep each other gainfully employed. When it comes down to us, we're expendable at that time. When the economy finally gets out of a recession or some type of downswing, then they'll go back to hiring our people. It is the most rotten thing ever. It's just dirty. So you don't care about our survival, just your own. And that's fine. Maybe that's why I don't care so much anymore. But it is what it is. But nevertheless, y'all, shalom. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to show you. Actually, I did something a little different with this particular one. I mixed my story that I did with videos. So you're going to see a mixture of two this time. I just want to try it out and see how it goes. But, there's still a few TikTok videos mixed in it. So I hope everybody is doing well. Shalom again to everybody in the chat. They have made so many different changes to StreamYard. Now, instead of one session coming up, I get 2 sessions that come up, and what they did was they split 1 session for people on cell phones, and then there's another one for people that are on desktops. So now, I have to watch 2 things instead of just 1 thing. So forgive me sometimes if I don't respond, but that's why I'm trying to keep my eye on the activity that was going on, and it was bad enough I had to do it looking at 1 screen. Now I have to do it looking at 2. It's not hard, but it definitely have to keep my attention because now if trolling occurs, it may occur on, let's say, for example, on the people on cell phones, but it may not occur with the people on desktops. So I got to be on the lookout and on the alert for that. And I don't know. I don't think this makes life easier at all, but it is what it is. A lot of things about social media is changing. And it's up to us as creators to keep up with everything that's going on. And so I'm trying my best, y'all, and I've been working hard to learn this AI. And I've really gotten a hang of it, especially over this past year. They want you to use the more modern stuff in your videos, and the people that are not using it, they're actually losing revenue. The algorithm is not picking those channels up. So it's fine to be old school, but that's going to cost you being old school on here. I'm just telling you, you know, because I know we got people, oh, I don't want nothing to do with that AI. But if you don't have nothing to do with that AI, your channel is not going to be seen. That's the thing. They kind of box you in. If you don't use nothing AI or nothing more up to date, you're going to really fall by the wayside. The algorithm is not even going to see you. So it's just going to be harder to be that way. So, anyway, y'all, let's get into this. So, unemployment rising among our people. Now, I know many of you heard the story about 300,000 Black women were let go, and a lot of that was in part of Donald Trump and his administration trashing DEI. Now, you know how it is. If it's something that's deemed negative, they try to put it on us, just like food stamps. And we know those are white women are the main recipients. But anything they see as negative, they always try to turn around and project it onto us. And so that has happened with DEI. DEI, they try to slap it on us. We know it ain't us. It's white women are the biggest recipients of everything up in here, not just DEI, but virtually everything. So whenever these conversations come up, you can the racist in them always comes out because, oh, it's us. It's never been us. I think we were what, number 8 on the list for DEI? It was never us. Everybody was over us for DEI. So, nevertheless, our people are always the last hired, first fired. That has never changed. It's still very prevalent and like that to this very day. So, you're gonna listen to and I notice the women are struggling. Many of them have put out some said they have put out well over 1,000 applications and have not returned got 1 returned call. That seems to be a very big thing going on out here. That's why I feel for those federal employees that Donald Trump was getting rid of because I know what's going on out here. I'm looking at the, news and all of the clips of videos that are out of people that are unemployed. It's bad out here, y'all. It's really bad out here. It's at the pandemic level when we were all on lockdown and most workers were at home and some automatically lost their jobs when we went on lockdown because it happened to some of you. I remember hearing from some of my subscribers as soon as they had to close the place of business, they all lost their jobs. And now you got a a big segment of the population that's losing their jobs. And they're admitting, and I was surprised they admitted it like a week ago, there are not enough jobs to go around. There's not enough. And unfortunately, you got a president that don't live in reality. I was watching Donald Trump yesterday, and he is still insisting that the economy is booming. It's great. The economy is not great. Even if you are a working class person, you see all of these prices and inflation going up. You know darn well this economy is not great. But he is still doing interviews and saying the economy is great, the best it's ever been. You know how he talks. And I'm like, wow, this is another reason why things are never going to change. Just listen to the way he talks. Oh, it's better than ever before. Really, Donald Trump? You're not going to get no help from the Trump administration. Mm-mm. You know, and and yesterday we were all talking about that $2,000. Y'all, again, I have to see it to believe it. That's all I got to say. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay.
The headlines are almost celebratory. National unemployment hits 2-year low. On the surface, that's a signal of economic resilience. Most economists look to the unemployment rate as a barometer of overall health. Think of it like a blood pressure reading for the entire country. But hang on, does a falling jobless rate mean everyone benefits equally? You might assume so, since the unemployment rate measures the percentage of jobless individuals actively seeking work. But national averages often hide the real story beneath the surface. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a city celebrating sunny weather, even though half the neighborhoods are still drenched in rain. That's what these headline numbers can do. They mask the local storms brewing underneath. So, let's dig deeper. Who's actually gaining from this drop? And who's being left behind, despite all the positive spin? Our story starts where the numbers start to break apart across racial and sector lines. Now, here's the unsettling twist. As the national unemployment rate falls, Black unemployment is actually rising. According to the latest Bureau of Labor Statistics data, while the national rate dipped to 3.8%, Black unemployment climbed back up to 6.1%. Why does this gap stubbornly persist? Structural inequality is one answer. Think of systemic barriers built over decades, like invisible hurdles on a racetrack. You might wonder, is this just a blip or a sign of deeper trouble? Unfortunately, the data shows a pattern. Whenever layoffs hit, Black workers are often the first out and the last rehired.
All of these are all copies of my resume and different cover letters.
Searching for a job has become Shauna Pinnock Glover's full-time gig.
It is a mentally taxing process.
On top of spending hours on applications and interviews, she's undergoing the most physically taxing process she's ever endured: treatment for breast cancer.
Stage 1, triple negative in the left breast, stage 3, ER positive in the right. So 2 different types of breast cancer. Didn't even know that was possible, but I'm an overachiever, I guess.
Her sense of humor getting her through postponing her own wedding for chemo.
It was a very dark time. My husband's birthday is in December. My bonus baby's birthday is in December. And I remember at Christmas last year being very, very scared at the thought that I wouldn't be here to celebrate the next birthdays and Christmas.
But she's made it through treatment, feeling well enough to have a small wedding.
In the bedroom. And I was just like, you know what? We're just going to embrace the bald head. Forget it.
She's lived through enough pain to keep faith that the right job will come.
Cancer puts certain things into perspective for you as to what actually matters. So I take it as a blessing that hasn't fully blossomed just yet. I have to trust and believe that there's something bigger and better for me.
Maisha Williams is an associate professor of economics at Spelman College. She says Pinnock Glover's experience is one happening across the country, especially as government jobs are cut and AI use expands. But adds, in this low moment for the economy, women can find power in becoming their own boss.
The best that we can probably do is what we've always done, is try to invite Black women to become entrepreneurs or make it more appealing to them.
For Pinnock Glover, she's not ready to make that jump just yet, especially in the face of mounting medical bills.
From January to September 1st of this year, my insurance company paid out $1.6 million in my care.
But she will keep applying, fighting for her career, the same way she fights to stay here with the ones she loves the most.
One thing a Black woman is going to do is we're going to fight and we're going to rise.
The unemployment rate for young Black workers is also at a high right now, above 15%. And the economics professor we spoke with says relief across the board should come for workers who are looking for jobs right now. Unfortunately, though, Sharon, she said that relief is not going to come in the next month or so. So keep applying, keep hanging on, but very tough for families hanging in the balance right now.
Tough indeed. And back to Shauna, sending her positive thoughts and prayers, really just for a clean bill of health.
Absolutely. She finishes her last radiation treatment this week. So we're sending her prayers.
Yes, we are. All right, Alexa, thank you.
You see minorities, unemployment going up. You see younger people who are more vulnerable economically, more susceptible to economic cycles. That's one of the reasons, in addition to just overall lower payroll job creation, that shows you that at the margin, the labor market is weakening.
But there's another sector worth watching: healthcare. Healthcare is supposed to be recession proof, right? Yet recent data shows layoffs in hospitals, elder care, and clinics, especially in support roles. Black workers make up a significant portion of these positions, from nursing aides to medical assistants. Now, you might be thinking, aren't we in a health worker shortage? True for certain roles, like RNs and specialists. But automation, think electronic records, and robotic pharmacy techs, and industry consolidation have trimmed the need for lower wage workers. The result? Displaced workers facing limited retraining options and communities losing familiar faces in local care settings. This labor market polarization, where high skilled jobs grow and middle skilled jobs shrink, deepens racial economic divides. So, how are Black families coping with these shocks? The consequences of rising Black unemployment ripple outwards, affecting families, neighborhoods, and entire cities. When one breadwinner loses a job, it's not just lost wages. It's missed rent, delayed medical care, and tighter grocery budgets.
So it looks like Black unemployment just hit 7.5%, the highest since the pandemic. And the others, yes, they're only at half the rate of Black folks. We know federal jobs got cut. Black folks make up 1 in 5 of those workers. And Trump is just cutting jobs like he's editing one of his stupid AI videos. Yeah, I don't understand. Let me see, logistics and transit. They're a quarter of that workforce is Black men, and that's in decline too. So if you're Black and unemployed, congratulations. You're like a unicorn now. And don't get me started on Black teens. They used to be able to get jobs. 24.8% of them are unemployed now. That's crazy. They can't even get a low paying job. So even college graduates are out here, can't be saved. The whole labor market is on fire. And apparently we are the smoke alarm. So here's the real kicker about all this. We're calling this a sign that the whole economy is slipping. Baby, we've been slipping, okay? We're always slipping. So let me ask the real question. Where are the Black folks that voted for this? Because,
Some cities, like Atlanta and Baltimore, are piloting local hiring mandates for public projects. Early evidence shows modest progress, but much work remains. Let's turn to the business sector. Are employers stepping up? After 2020, major corporations made public pledges to diversify hiring and invest in communities of color. Fast forward to today, how much has changed? Not enough, say labor analysts. Black representation in management and tech roles remains low, often stuck in single digits. Some firms ramped up diversity training and created DEI positions, short for diversity, equity, and inclusion. But when economic pressures hit, these are often the first jobs cut. Now, you might wonder, what about supplier diversity or internship pipelines? While there are promising models, scale and enforcement remain challenges. Without sustained investment and accountability, think transparent metrics and third-party audits, corporate promises risk becoming little more than PR. For real progress, we need more than words, we need systemic change. If this all sounds familiar, It should. History shows us a troubling pattern. Black unemployment has always been more sensitive to economic shocks. During the Great Recession, for instance, Black joblessness peaked at nearly twice the white rate, a phenomenon economists call last hired, first fired.
Okay, y'all. I just came out of the supermarket or grocery store, whatever you guys call it. At the end of the day, I don't think I'll be able to afford groceries. I know it sounds crazy, but it is that expensive. I've been out of work, unemployed since February, and frankly, I'm over it. There are 335,000, and that number might be even bigger now, of African American women who are out of work, me included in that number. I don't know what else to do. I have been savvy with saving, robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you know what? Everybody is depleted and I am deflated. And so help me out. Why are these companies not hiring? It's ridiculous. Somebody, my call to action, somebody give me a direction on where to look for a job. Who's hiring?
Structural racism and occupational clustering, where certain groups are concentrated in unstable jobs, explain much of this recurring gap. You may ask, have we learned anything since then? Some lessons? Yes, like the importance of inclusive recovery policies and anti discrimination enforcement. But the persistence of these disparities shows there's still a long way to go. The echoes of past recessions shape today's fears and strategies. So, what can we expect moving forward? As we look to the future, two forces pull in opposite directions: economic hope and racialized risk. The labor market is evolving, think remote work, gig economy, and AI driven disruption. Black workers could benefit if barriers are removed, or lag further behind if nothing changes. Now, you might be thinking, is there reason for optimism? Absolutely. Targeted upskilling programs, stronger labor protections, and continued pressure for corporate accountability can make a real difference. But let's be clear, without intentional, data driven action from government, business, and community leaders, these gaps won't close on their own. If the nation wants to truly celebrate full employment, every community must be included in the story. That's economic justice, and it benefits us all. Thank you for joining me to dig beneath the headlines and explore what the unemployment data really means for Black America today.
All right, y'all. This is the first time I've ever done this where I mixed in the videos from TikTok with a story that I did. So I don't know if you like this format. If you do, I can do it more often. If not, and we can still do where you just see back to back TikTok videos. We can maybe I can mix it up and do a little bit of both just to make a change. But y'all, I feel for my brothers and sisters out here that are not working. I know how tough it is. We're going through it, but we haven't gotten there quite yet. But as of the end of this month, my husband's going to be unemployed. So it's hitting my household too. And this is getting worse for us in the country. It has not gotten better, you know? And I know I said this before, but since the lockdown, as far as jobs are concerned, the job market never got better, y'all, from when we were, in lockdown in 2020 all the way up until now. It never, ever greatly improved because the jobs that closed and never came back was big. That was a big thing that happened. When we went on lockdown, it automatically made people unemployed. It automatically shut down daycare centers that never came back, jobs that never came back. All kinds of businesses just decided At that time, if they couldn't conduct business, they would just let it all go, and they did. So you had a lot of businesses that disappeared from the job market and never returned. And then the ones that did return, they weren't all really good paying jobs. So a lot of people, some were working remotely. And eventually those companies start threatening them. They got to return back to the office or they're going to get fired. So it has not been easy out here since the lockdown in 2020. It has not been easy out here in the job market. And you see how Donald Trump is. Donald Trump ain't interested in keeping people working. He's trying to get rid of all these federal workers. He's not even demonstrating as a president that he is for the working class people. He's not even demonstrating that. All he's showing is everybody is expendable and he's ready to get rid of them. That's the only thing that president is showing us. So, and that is definitely not a help, you know? Well, we'll make it the best that we can. Like I said, I'm going to lean on my Heavenly Father to get us through, and hopefully he'll find employment somewhere else. If not, if it turns out to be long term like it is for many other people, we'll just get through it the best that we can. You know, that's how I see it. So, the one thing that does concern me almost as much as him being unemployed is the insurance part. With Donald Trump and the Republicans that are hell bent on messing up and the premiums for everybody. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a big segment of the population that's just going to give up on trying to have health care because it's just way too expensive. And that's going to lead to a lot of people losing their lives because they're not going to be out here getting the care that they need. So it is about to get worse. It's about to get worse. And that's coming up in January, so it's not really that far off at all. Again, you got a president that's demonstrating he's not willing to help anybody. So he wants Obamacare gone. He wants everybody out here paying a premium. And, what he doesn't realize, a lot of children require Obamacare because they have certain conditions, and even elderly people are on Obamacare. So you get rid of those folks, then, like I said, if when those bills come in the mail and if they're too high, people are just going to walk away from healthcare. That's what they're going to do. You know, I already did a story, if you didn't see it, about 2 weeks ago, a California couple, they were on Obamacare. Their premium was 1,200 a month, and they said they could afford that. They could, both working, and they could afford 1,200 a month. Well, they got a bill in the mail. It went from 1,200 a month to $9,800 a month. If you didn't see that video, go out there and see it. And that is a precursor of what's to come for people all over this country. Premiums are going to go up. And that's where I got my biggest concern. We do have insurance right now, and it's affordable. But if everything happens, with Donald Trump trying to make cuts to everything, then if that bill comes in the mail and it's like $9,000 and $8,000, oh, forget it. A lot of people are not going to be able to afford insurance. And it's happening already. If you go online, you can even pull up the videos of people getting their bills in the mail and making videos saying, I can't pay this. I can't pay this amount. Yeah, a lot of hospitals are going to be gone. You know, look, even with the situation with EBT, there are a lot of supermarkets in this country. Damn near all of their customers are EBT, depending on where you live. If you live in an area where you got low income people, then you got a lot of people going to certain local supermarkets with their EBT. And without that EBT, it's not just the person can't feed themselves, the supermarket goes out of business. You've taken their revenue away from them, and they're not going to gain that back. They need that revenue through low income people getting EBT. So if you take that away, then he doesn't realize you're putting supermarkets out of business. They're not going to be able to stay in business. So it's a big old mess. Donald Trump has made such a mess of things out here, but the Most High got him there for a reason, y'all. And that reason is being fulfilled each day as we see this place fall apart. That reason for having Donald Trump there is definitely being fulfilled. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I got another video coming at 1:45, so I hope to see you all there. Shalom, family.